I'ma tell you a little story now. When I was a little girl, my mama told me, be careful what you speak, because what you say can destroy or create. So choose your words wisely. Choose wisely. I made up my mind. I opened my mouth.
Hi, I'm Margaret Green, and I just would like to thank you for joining us today in Sister2Sister Nationwide Girl Talk. Today we will talk about does intimacy mean love?
Nationwide Girl Talk. My name is Francesca Mirabella, and I'm just backstage right now getting ready, preparing myself for today's topic.
We know that that is a very prevalent topic today. A lot of people mistake love, sex for love, and necessarily, you don't have to have sex to love someone.
I didn't really know that, wow, emotions have probably the most to do with
it. And you definitely don't have to love someone in order to have sex, if you catch my drift. But I am a firm believer in dating to marry and waiting for that special someone. But this topic just really hits home, and I just want you to just tune in with us today, have some fun with us, join the conversation. If you have a topic that you would like to discuss, or if you just have any questions, feel free to send those questions and those topics into nationwidegirltalk@gmail.com.
Hi, welcome to Sister2Sister Nationwide Girl Talk. My name is Margaret.
I'm Kristen.
I'm Mona. And I'm Francesca.
And today we're going to discuss a pretty, I want to say spicy, but yet prevalent topic. Does intimacy mean love? I mean, does it really mean that he or she loves them when there's intimacy involved?
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess it all depends on who you ask, but when we're talking about the act of just sex alone, I don't think so, because there are a lot of people that look at sex differently. Yes. So it just really depends on who you ask. But I was doing a little research.
Okay.
And I found that with sex in women, there's a chemical that is released called oxytocin.
Oh yeah.
Also known as the cuddle hormone or something like that.
The cuddle hormone.
Yeah. And so what it does, it releases.
I don't know if I have that.
You might. Well, I mean, they say that all women, when we have sex, it releases this hormone, and we feel like we're emotional. We feel very emotional. Mm-hmm. But with men, dopamine is that's the happy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it's something that they get. Mona was saying that they get that like when you're like running track or during
working out.
Eating.
It's like a sport. Yeah.
Right. So when you're having sex with a man, you're essentially being equated to a sport.
I mean, that's interesting, because it's sort of like, in some ways, like the opposite hormones or the reaction of it. And sometimes I feel like as a woman or as a man, that's important to know, because that's part of your nature. Mm-hmm. And having sex, what does that really do to you? And just being honest about that feeling, and that's
I think from a biological standpoint, it's women are more nurturing than men, and men are meant to kind of like spread their seed, if you will. But I think but taking a step back and looking at culturally, it really means something different in Europe or Latin America, or even in the Middle East. When I went to Palestine, they did not kiss, touch nowhere near another man until until their wedding night. Mm-hmm. And they looked at that as meaning a sense of love. But I think it was more than that. I think that was introducing them to that's the man that they're going to be with for the rest of their life. Right. That was a sure thing, that they knew no matter what, that was their man.
So with that being said, would you say actually people should then just date to marry? Since sex is such a a sensitive thing, and it should be something that's shared between two people who love each other, right? Yeah. Not just someone that you're dating, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel it's better. For me, I think yes, because you're kind of wasting your time emotionally, since there's so many emotions that go into it, so you're kind of just wasting your time if you're.
And then all the time you hear people say, oh, sex confuses things. So if you start having sex before you're married, or before you even know that this is the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with, now you add sex to the equation, and you don't even know if you want to spend the rest of your life with this person, and now you're confused because you have all these chemical emotions, being released, and they're like, well, we didn't feel like this before we had sex. Now, why do you feel like this now? Or and so I definitely think it's something that you should wait. You should wait.
Well, I definitely believe that one of the problems is that a lot of us, as girls and guys, when we experience rejection, or we experience a lot of things like low self-esteem, we use sex as that meaningful thing. Okay, well, if you want me, then you love me, but we're dealing with some under the table issues that we really need to get delivered from. And it's one thing, because I remember just being young, being 14, I got pregnant when I was 14, and I had my son, at 14, but it was because I felt like this older guy, loved me. I never knew what it was, growing up in a family in an abusive home and things like that. You really don't know what it is. You only have a persona or a perception of what love is. So you figure, well, if he does this for me,
if he
then,
touches me like this,
then that's what that is, And so and it happens to the best of us, And so I'm just great that we're on this topic today.
Yes.
So go ahead. I know I'm just talking.
No. Well, and I was just gonna kind of piggyback off of that. For me, it was almost the same, because dealing with the things that I dealt with when I was younger, like being molested and things like that, being open to those type of touches and feelings young, it makes you think that this is what it's supposed to feel like if you're in love, or if someone wants you, they're going to touch you like this, and that's not what love is.
Definitely.
Love is kind, love is patient. It's an action that you do before you get to that point,
and it's definitely unconditional. And we have to realize that when people love you for you, it doesn't take sex, or it doesn't take intimacy to prove that.
Exactly.
So I'm just glad to be here with you girls today. So and I just want to say this. There's just a lot of problems going on today with girls and guys when it comes to sex and things like that. Now we have HIV, we have AIDS, and we have all these different STDs that are
risks.
They're going around. We have so many babies out of wedlock and different things going on. There are girls young as 10 years old that are having babies because they feel like the guy loved them, because they feel like, oh, he's going to be there, but really it's just you and that baby, your baby now raising a baby, and that's one of the situations that I got caught up in, So we're going to go ahead and we're going to roll to our break, and when we come back, we'll talk about overcoming the things that allow us to give ourselves to those that we're not really supposed to.
All right, stand by. It's 7 minutes, right?
Yep.
Okay. Come on, 1, 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back to Sister2Sister Nationwide Girl Talk. I'm Margaret, and we are talking about, does intimacy mean love? As we know today, different men and women get involved in different relationships based off of the word love. Sometimes that word love is just overly used just to get what we want at times. Am I right, girls?
Right.
I know I've done it. I don't want to I just don't want to play the victim here. I've done it. I've said, oh, I love you, just to, I want that necklace over there. So if I tell you I love you enough, you'll get it for me. But we understand that this is a trending problem, because now we know that that word love even leads to prostitution. It leads to manipulation and all these different things. And as we were discussing before, teenage pregnancy, and we just have to now kind of put a stop to it. What are some of these warning signs when the word I love you comes up? What are some of the warning signs? Really, it's not love. It's just I'm saying it to get what I want.
Well, I would definitely say when your actions don't line up with
Yeah.
what love is supposed to be.
Yes.
You know, like you said, we say we love each other, or we say we love someone, but yet we don't want to put in the work that shows that we love them. You know, if they're telling you, oh, I love you, but yet they don't want to spend time with you, they don't want to. I heard something someone has said. He said, you'll know when a man loves you when he starts telling you yes more, when he starts doing things for you more, when he starts praying for you more.
Definitely.
You know, and so you have to watch those actions. Love is a verb as well. It's not just a noun. You have to, they go hand in hand.
What about that last bite of piece of cake? You know, I
Oh
heard
yeah,
that
you know, if you give me the last piece of food, you love me.
You
No,
love
that's
me.
true.
You know, we like to eat. I'm sorry.
No, that's true, really. I think also the wrong things are really glamorized when it comes to love. I think that when things are good, you know, everyone's, I'm in love, and she looks good and he looks good, but what about when things aren't good? You know, what about when someone has a mental illness, or there's a disease involved, or, you know, when things aren't good, because life's not always good all the time.
Yeah.
So
People equate love to if he's putting you on his social media,
Right.
Which, by the way, he should not
Doesn't
do it.
matter.
But
No,
if
it
just
doesn't
because he puts you on your social media doesn't mean that you guys are in love.
And one another warning sign, if you feel like if you have to follow this person, you have to check their social media, you have to check their phone, you know, if you just really are feeling insecure about this person, maybe that's just not the right person. Maybe that's not the man that God has for you.
Right.
One thing I do understand and I have learned in this life is that God has someone for everyone. That special person, that person that is made especially for you, that rib, you know, he said that, you know, he took
the rib.
yeah, he said he took he took Eve, I'm sorry. He took Eve from, you know, Adam's rib. So I just believe that there's an Adam or an Eve for someone. And so definitely that sex thing should definitely be saved, especially for that someone.
I agree.
All right?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to go back to, you know, it's not like as a warning sign, but something that you may want to pay attention to is this person capable of loving? Like, if they treat themselves badly, are they able to treat you well? You know,
hurt people.
Exactly, and if that person is willing to spend their time in a certain way, not to be judgmental, but realistically, if they do certain things that seem like, you know, like risky behavior to themselves, are they able to really love you?
Yes, totally.
And not to ignore those things, you know, and kind of like settle for that, because I feel like you should never settle.
Definitely. You definitely have to be careful nowadays, you know. There are men and women, they're committing suicide, and they are, I mean, suffering from depression and oppression and these different things that cause them not to pursue their dreams and their visions and stuff like that. I remember when we were in second grade, the second grade teacher would ask you, hey, what do you want to do when you grow up? And someone would say like a firefighter, someone would say, oh, I want to be a police officer, or I want to be a doctor. But somewhere along the line or somewhere along the way, they lost that ambition. And a lot of times you ask them, well, he or she, they left me, you know, and I can't get back to where I was. Well, I'm an advocate in not allowing people or things to stop you from pursuing what it is that you've been purposed to do, especially something called sex.
Okay. Definitely. Like I said, it confuses things.
It confuses things.
It throws you off your game. And you know, I know for me, even struggling with having sex, you know, I am a person, like, I craved those touches and things like that, because that's what I thought was love, you know. And when I didn't have that for such a long time, I started to feel unloved, you know. And you have to really check that and make sure, okay, well, why am I wanting to do this? Because I know, like, every time I know I want this, but then I know if I get it, I'm not going to be fulfilled.
Yes.
You know, so you have to check your motives and why you're wanting to do something. Because essentially, if you're doing that so that you can feel loved, you need to check within on why you don't feel loved.
And definitely discovering who you are as a person. You have to know who you are, because if you know who you are, then now you're able to make someone else happy. Okay, but if you're not happy with you, you know, if Margaret can't be happy with Margaret, then Margaret can't make anyone else happy.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And these 15-year-old girls that, okay, so I started, like, my little sister hook me on Vampire Diaries, whatever. But like these little girls that are watching these shows, and they're seeing little girls have sex too, you know, and they're seeing "I love you" being thrown around by different people, and it's like by two brothers, they love the same girl, and it's like really confusing. Think about a 16-year-old watching that, and maybe they can't differentiate reality from this show or something like that, but it's hard. Yeah.
And a lot of times that's when we're talking about sex, that's all we're talking about is the risk of getting pregnant and STDs. I wish I had somebody that told me the emotional stress that comes along with having sex.
Well, thank you for tuning in to Sister to Sister Nationwide Girl Talk. We've just had an explosive conversation on intimacy, or shall I say sex, in relationship, and does it really mean love? If you want to view more of this content, if you just want to just reach out to us, if you have questions or topics that you would like to talk about, you can email us at nationwidegirltalk@gmail.com. Again, I'm Margaret from Sister to Sister Nationwide Girl Talk, and this has been
an awesome time.
an awesome time.